Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs Show. Happy Saturday morning. I double check. I thought I wouldn't look like an idiot for once. I hope the weekend looks like it's going to treat you well. The weather looks pretty decent right now, so get outside and enjoy some of that sun. As you can tell, I have, hence why I'm a little bit sweaty. I've just come back from the gym and I wanted to do this video because this video is a doozy. It's a good one, and we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about a potential mass exodus of the first team squad. We've got Ange quotes. We've got updates on the coaching staff. We've got updates on players coming in. This is going to be a cracking video, so I hope you're sitting down and you're ready for it because this is going to be good. I'm looking forward to this as well. So if you are new, give us a subscribe. Very much welcome to join us for the journey. And look, I've got a lot to start with, all right? So don't worry, I will get to all things. So I want to start with Paul O'Keefe because he put out a couple of little bits, all right? And he said that Spurs have identified over a dozen players they'd be willing to listen to offers for this summer. He also puts in that Ange Pochettino is also looking to add to his coaching staff. Now, that's massive, right? I think we could do with having an experienced head on the coaching side of things. When you look at Pep has experienced coaches, Klopp, experienced coaches. I don't actually know a lot about Arteta's coaches, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I could do. Hell, Man United do. They've got Steve McLaren as the first team coach, and he's been an England manager, a Middlesbrough manager, the FC20 manager, the Newcastle manager. I'm probably missing a few here, but you know what I mean. So we clearly have a missing gap for a coach. So I like that. Now, if it's defending set pieces, I like that as well. But let's not go there today. On the potential of so many players leaving, I do have two players to add to the list because I did a video not long ago with 9 players on the list. It was players like Japhet Tanganga, Joe Rodon, Giovanni Celso, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Jed Spence, Ryan Sessegnon, Tanguy Ndombele, and Emerson. I think those, I might be missing, I think I'm missing one, but I can't exactly remember, right? And I think if you look at the sort of the first teamers that list, you think of Gio, you think of Pierre Højbjerg, Emerson, I think all of which could go. I think Gio's got talent, but he's just never fit, so there's the issue there, especially if you're going to be playing 2 or 3 games a week next season. You kind of need guys to be able to be as fit as possible. So you could be moving on from those 3 guys, but I think there's more, and there is more, because Graham Bailey said that Manor Solomon is not considered to have a big future at Spurs, and the club are open to selling the winger this summer. Now, I don't think we're getting 10, 15, 20 million for him. I think we get about 5 million. I mean, he's been injured all season. I just don't get why he's been injured all season. We just don't seem to know where this injury started. They said it started training, but how it's progressed really, because we say, oh, he's started training again. No, he's injured again. He needs another surgery. That's quite drastic to come back to a bit of training for a little while and then require more surgery. And that, I think, it's happened a couple of times this season. So, look, yeah, fine, move him on. Not an issue. Look, he hasn't had a fair chance, but to me, I think about the fact that sometimes we've not been ruthless enough in our own transfer windows. Other top teams are. We're not. We need to be more ruthless. Chelsea have been more ruthless. That's my PlayStation telling me something. We need to be more ruthless. You know, City are ruthless. You think of City, the players Ilkay Gundogan, they let go in the summer. He was probably their best player last year. You know, Liverpool, they've been ruthless. Look at Sadio Mane. He's literally the best football player in the world. You know that meme. You know, Arsenal, Aubameyang. So, you know, it's about being smart and letting players go that you don't think are going to be here long term. And I'm all for that. Yeah, if Lo Celso's not going to be here long term, if Emerson, if Højbjerg, they're not here long term, move them now. Clear them out now so you can not have to worry about it and then get replacements in now that you go, they're going to be here 4, 5, 6 years, you know? So there's this one, right? Another one, though, is, and I'm going to read the second part of the quote in a bit, but the first, I'm going to read the first part in a little while, but the second part came from the Telegraph, who said that Ange Postecoglou wants an out-and-out striker too, so bids for Richarlison will be given serious consideration. I like Richy, I like his attitude, but if I'm going to be offered somewhere in 40 to 50 million, I'm taking that money and I'm getting myself a new striker, which I will talk about what the other thing was about the striker in a second. But I want an out-and-out striker. And I like Richy, I do. I mean, he's Brazil's number 9. I get that. But for our style of play, I don't think it suits him. We saw against Chelsea, he was doing graveyard shifts. He can hold up the ball. But if you'd want someone who's a proper big man, or you want Kane who can hold up the ball, where he can spin someone, drag you up the field even, but also win you fouls, can open up plays with passing and things like that. And I think Richie's link-up play this season has not been great. I think that's fair to say, right? So let's talk about that first part where we said that Spurs could be open to 12 players leaving. If I sort of put my list out, and I want you in the comments to tell me your list, but I think Joe Rodon, I think Tanganga, Emerson, I think Spence, Ndombele could throw on the list, Højbjerg, Lo Celso, Solomon, Sessegnon. Trying to think of who else. Brian Hill, that's another one. Oh, that was from the other YouTubers, but that's 10. Maybe Ben Davies, 11. I mean, you've seen, it wasn't good in the big games. You've seen this season where he's a great character, but the other one I want to add to is, and I don't want to add him to this list because I think he has a future at Spurs, but there are reports to say that Spurs are willing to listen to offers for Yves Bissouma, but they will only sell if they get a good offer. So, look, we spent about 30 million, give or take a few mil either side. Spurs are going to want 35 and above, and I get that. I do. I wouldn't be wanting to move him on personally. It would just make absolutely no sense. I'm just having a look because I've just seen on Twitter that Rodrigo Bentancur is trending. Just seen some people kind of going, do you reckon Bentancur's on the list? To be honest, no. I don't think Bentancur's on this list. I think Bentancur, they said that he would be better next season because he'd be fitter and things like that. So I'm not worried about Bentancur. I don't think he'll go. And again, if he is going to go, we're going to want 40 odd mil. And I don't think people are going to spend that on him because they think he might be a bit injury prone, which he's been a bit unfortunate. It's not he's got hamstrings and things like that. So with all this news of like this exodus coming, why is it coming out? Now, I need to bring up Fabrizio Romano because he actually put out the Ange quotes. And let's have a look. This is annoying because I have it on my phone, but this is part of it. So this is Postecoglou on exit this summer. He said, yes, we already made tough decision, let experienced players leave. It's the only way if you want to change. Sometimes you let people go who you think he's a good player, but how am I going to change if I don't do that? And I agree. You think of the Perisic's of this world that evidently can still do it, but move them on. They're on big money. Move them on. Bring in someone that's going to be here long term, and I am all for that. But he did have some other quotes. If I can locate, it's a bit of a nightmare because he posts so much, Fabrizio, that it's such a nightmare trying to find anything that you need to find. So bear with me. But what I would say is, oh, hang on. Oh, he talked about winning titles. He said, for a club like Tottenham, wherever you think you are in the rebuilding cycle, you have to try and win something every year. That's part of the responsibility. I can't sit here and say we're going to finish 4th, 5th, 6th, and then in the third or fourth year, we're going to win something. I'm not built that way. I want to win things all the time. We start next year trying to have success, but the underlying thing is growth. We've got to have growth. I rate that. I do rate that. He's talked a lot. He said, we need change. Change has to happen. I've got to change the squad. I have to. I've got to build a squad that I think can play our football. For that to happen, there have to be exits. We're going to play and train a certain way. That's not for everyone. I think that's the key thing. When we're linked to players, we go, oh, he's a good player. He's a good player and he's a good player. Oh, I don't want him. Don't rate him. Blah, blah, blah. Right? Do they fit the system? I'd rather someone that fits the system than someone that's amazing at football. Because if they're not going to fit the system, they won't fit into the team. And you can have, let's talk about the best player in the world at the moment, Harry Kane. You can have Harry Kane, but if he doesn't fit your system, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, he'll score goals, but it won't contribute to the overall success, if you know what I mean. Whereas you could have a guy who scores 2/3 of his goals, who fits the system a bit more, who's going to integrate into the system. The system's going to be better for it. You're going to develop more and then win more. I'm not saying championships and things. I'm just saying at least win games more, you know? And I love Harry Kane. Like I said, he's the best player in the world at the moment. And if Bayern win the Champions League and he does well at the Euros, that man's on for a Ballon d'Or. But they'll still find a way to give it to Messi somehow. But yeah, like, I think with these exits, and I'm keen to know what you guys think about this, because I have seen those quotes before from Antonio Conte, and this is what I've talked about. Conte was right to be sacked, but he was also right in some of the things that he said. He's also been wrong about a lot of things, and you can't tell Antonio that because he thinks he's God's greatest gift. But Ange is right with those quotes. We need to get rid of players because there's, like I've always said, there's players that are there's players here that have played for Poch. He's gone to France. He's won trophies in France. He's come back to England to a different team. They're still here. We've got players that play for Mourinho, Nuno, Conte, Mason. I'm probably missing someone in there. Me. They played for me at one point, you know. So we need just a big old clear out. And I don't mean just your guys out on loan or your quote deadwood. There has to be first teamers that have got to go. You know, we've seen it. You know, we like Emerson, but Emerson's not going to be ever good enough for us to go where we want to go. Move him on. Højbjerg's a good top 7-8 midfielder. In the right system, he can be a top 4 midfielder, but he's never going to take you to where you want to go in terms of fighting for titles, fighting for championships, fighting for cups. Move him on. Giovanni Celso, is he going to stay fit enough? If he's not, move him on. And I love Gio. I think Gio's great, but he's just never fit, is he? Let's be honest. Solomon, if he's never going to be fit, move him on. Session, if he's not going to be fit, let him go. You know, Ben Davies picks up some injuries. He's getting a bit older now, so he's starting to pick up more and more injuries. Is he going to be in the long run? Probably not. Let him go. You can get some money for Ben this summer. You can probably get 10 million from a team that's coming up. You can probably get about 10 million, and I would just do it and move him on. You know, you look at Brian Hill. Look, just move him on. And you're going to start to look at it and you think, Ben Davies, Emerson, Gio, Pierre, Brian Hill, Manor Solomon, Emerson. I'm trying to think of anyone else off the top of my head. Richarlison. That's 8 first team guys in the first team squad that I would move on. Absolutely move on. I would look to bring in 5 to 6. You might count Werner as another one you bring in because you can bring it. You can sign 7 players this summer. If Timo Werner's one of them, all right. Well, he's already been here, sort of thing. Lucas Bergval's going to be there. I want to integrate a Donnelly or a Mikey Moore or a couple of youngsters, getting them 15, 20 minutes here and there, and then building them up to half an hour, maybe a 45-minute, maybe 60 minutes, or even Europa League Cup games as well. Europa League and Cup games, by the way. I would do that, and I would buy 5 impact first-team players. It doesn't mean they're going to start every game, but they could impact the team if they play. So that brings me on to this next bit, and apologies, this is a longer video, I know, but there's so much to talk about, and we have to talk about it because I'm not going to be around later today because I'm in London for a birthday. So, that's why I'm going to do it all in this video, hence why, apologies, it's going to take so long. Let's just bring this up. So, got a few things here. First one is from Graham Bailey. He said that Spurs are keen on signing Ivan Toney this summer, but are waiting on Brentford to set their asking price. The club are not willing to pay more than 40 million for him, as he has 1 year left on his contract. I think Spurs will probably stretch a little bit past 40, but if it's 60, 70, 80 million, they're not doing it. They'd rather spend that kind of money on someone that's a bit younger, to be honest. But if it's about 50 million, I think Spurs will probably do 50 million for Ivan Toney. And that guy, in a game against Chelsea, would have been massive. Physical presence, holds up the ball, wins fouls. Hey, can defend set pieces because he's bloody tall, and he can also attack set pieces. And I'm all for it. I've had a bit of a 180. I was always a bit like, I started off liking Santiago Jimenez, and I was like, I like Slanky, and I like this guy, and just get me Ivan Toney. If it's Ivan Toney, just get me Ivan Toney up front. Out-and-out striker, because Ange wants an out-and-out striker. And that deal's funded by Richarlison being sold, by the way. You might keep Richy, but to be honest, I think we'll sell Richy. Second part, Heung-Min Son is keen to finalise his new contract. The forward has 1 year left on his contract, and Spurs have an option to extend by a further year, which they will if new terms are not agreed. I would give him the extra. I'd give him the option to extend. I'd take the option up, give him another year, and then play it by ear. Because Sonny's been great this season. He has 16 goals, 9 assists, 25 goal contributions. There's nothing to sniff about. But give him another year. Maybe take the option away and give him a 2-year deal. And then kind of from there go, look, let's just see how we go from now. Let's be smart. And if we start to see the decline, they always say in baseball, move off a player 1 year too early than 1 year too late. You get more for your buck. And the last one, Lloyd Kelly, Tosin Adarabioyo, Amadou Onana, Conor Gallagher, Samuel Illing Jr. and Rafinha are all Spurs targets this summer. This is from the Telegraph as well, and that was the first part of that quote. Look, get one of the first two, because that's a free centre-back. Get one of the first two. I have a bit of Onana at the 6. I want that physical big man presence in the midfield. The other 3 I'm not massively blown away by. You know. Yeah, I'm not massively blown away by it. But look, there's so much in this. There's so much in this video, guys. Like, I'm really keen to see what you guys think, because there's so much to talk about. There's so much to get through. So much to understand. This club needs a clear out. I've said it for a little while. This club needs a clear out. Even if it means we don't get full price on things, just go, look, we're going to move you early. We don't, you know, we could sell players before June 30th or after. We're not going to have any financial fair play concerns at all. I think you need to, if I'm going to label it and finish this off, because this has already been nearly 17 minutes, I'm moving Emerson, I'm moving Richy, I'm moving Højbjerg, I'm moving Lo Celso, I'm moving Davies, I'm moving Hill, I'm moving Solomon. That's moving Sessegnon. That's 8 first teamers there, and then, you know, there's probably more, but it's 8. And if you can get 20 for Emerson, 15 for Højbjerg, 15 for Lo Celso, you're already at 50. I'm expecting, let's say, 40 for Richy, if not more, but let's call it 90. Davies 10, Solomon 5, Hill 5, Sessegnon, just move him. Don't extend him, just let him go for free. That's 110 million. Roden 15, Tanganga 10, Spence, 8? I think Spence for 8. I think it's about 8. So right now we're sitting at over 140 million. Regulon 10. God, it's quite a few actually, isn't there? Crikey. And Don Bella, you're not making any money, so I'm not going to count him. Troy Parrott, to be honest, yeah, I'd move him. Get 5 mil. So you're talking right there and then about 160, 170 million of sales. Move them, get him gone, and go, right, big summer. Toney, centre half, big winger. Like, I'm talking crazy winger. Get him. Get a 10. Bergval's in. We're going to promote some of the youth. We're going to get another left back. We're going to get a right back. Yeah. There's so much to be excited about. But, like I've always... what I'll end this video with is prove it to me, because history shows me we won't do what we need to do. But we'll make excuses as to why. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I hope you enjoyed. Drop a like on the video. If you did, hit me in the comments section your thoughts and feelings about everything I've just talked about. I want to know it all. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the notification for more. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.